served here at Bombay at the beach. Today we got a very special somebody. All right, we have my dog Louie and his former foster mom, Christa.
Hello.
All right, we met in the bank. All right, and I fell in love with this little guy. And about 3 days later,
I was already in love.
About 3 days later, I adopted him. And it's been a nice 4.5 years since, hasn't it, buddy?
And look at us now.
Yeah, look at us now.
Years later.
Still in touch, still great friends. You helped me out so much, taking care of him while I was in India.
Well, and you taking him when we didn't know what we were going to do with ourselves and bringing him into your life and your family.
Yeah, can you believe nobody wanted to adopt him for such a long time?
Unbelievable.
Immediately, you had the connection with him,
He's perfect.
Yeah. So, you told me a little bit earlier, you're not a Myrtle Beach native, neither am I. Right?
So few are, I think. Few are.
So, tell me about a little bit about where you're from, how you ended up here.
Let's see. So I grew up in Charlotte, and in Charlotte, this is where you go for spring break, for any sort of, quick getaway, especially when you're a teen. And never a place I ever anticipated living. But I came down here for a little bit about 2008. Thank you so much. And I came out here and had a lot of fun working at the House of Blues. Okay. So I was a bartender out there back in the day, so that was a good time. Then moved away to Charleston, South Carolina for about 5 years, where I worked down on the market as a restaurant manager, which I thoroughly loved. And then somehow wandered back down to the beach, and definitely home now. Definitely home. Found my place with the doggy daycare. And I couldn't imagine being anywhere else now. Plus Louie lives here.
Plus Louie lives here. It's good to finally have you at the restaurant, actually. I think this is the first time you've come and visited.
It is the first time.
But it's not the first time you've had our food.
No, it's not the first time I've had food. Thank you for that. And not the first time I'd ever heard of it prior to even meeting you guys. Like I had heard of Bombay at the Beach.
Right.
Many, many years ago.
Cool. Well, my big uncle, a very famous guy. But yeah, awesome. So, all right. So today we got started off with some chai, with some pakoras and some vegetable samosas.
So good.
All right. So yeah,
try the chai out here.
Take mine with a little bit of Splenda.
I take a little bit of Splenda myself. That's good.
So this is Indian tea made with milk.
Actually, had this at my niece's wedding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
nice.
had. She lived in India for an extended period of time as a youth, and at her wedding we had chai with nature.
Very cool.
It was very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just when you said that, a taste came back to me too.
Nice.
Yeah. Very good. All right, Lou.
All right. Well, let's get started on some of this, shall we?
And tell me about the sauces.
Okay. So the sauces. This is our mint chutney and our sweet tamarind chutney. So tamarind in Indian is imli, right? And yeah, so this one is a little bit. So that one's a bit more sweet, right? We made it with the tamarind, some jaggery, etc. It's very nice. It helps even out with some spicy stuff if you're eating any spicy stuff. And this is our mint chutney. It's made with mint, some cilantro, jalapenos. Not a lot of jalapenos, so it has a little kick to it. So for some people, it might be significant. For regular people, it's not that much. I don't know where you land on that spectrum. We'll find out soon, right?
We'll see where I do land. Thank you so much.
And these are vegetable pakoras. So we have cauliflower, potato, and eggplant.
All
right.
Thank you.
So we get a little bit of everything there for you.
Yum. And y'all make all the sauces too?
Yep, we make everything here from scratch.
That's awesome.
Louis' favorite one is the cauliflower. So I got one right here for him.
I was going to say I'll split it with him.
Yeah. And, this is all just finger food, so you just eat it with your hands, basically.
Cool. I like that best. Right. Dip too. Yeah, thank you so much for having me out here.
And first, let me point out how well behaved Louie is.
Exceptional.
Because look at all this food here.
But it's
no risk.
But we just take it for granted because we know how good he is.
Absolutely.
But this is not typical. It's not typical. And I know.
Not at all. And I lucked out because Louie's my first pet ever. And he's the best pet ever. So, I don't know what I would do without him.
When I first met Louie, he just, everything about him, his aura, just his eyes, his calm demeanor. Now, let's not be confused. He can definitely get excited.
Oh, absolutely.
But just everything about him, you're like, this dog is fully loaded. Fully loaded.
Yep. And even on furniture, he doesn't get on furniture. I had to literally lift him and put him up here.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of this. But,
oh my gosh.
Right.
Thank you so much.
We got a whole little feast over here. All right. We got some appetizers. We got the shrimp korma. All right. And then, we have a garlic naan and a plain naan. So garlic, obviously, Louie can't have it. But the plain naan, he can, which is why I ordered one of each. In case you felt like sharing.
I always want to share with Louie.
Yeah, I don't need to share with him because I already fed him this morning. Plus, he doesn't eat off the table when I'm around. But you're a guest, so you get to give him exceptions.
He's just so good. How polite.
He's so gentle too. He doesn't try to bite off your hand or your finger or something.
No, he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
he knows. Can you tell me what beverage do we have here?
So all right. So what you have is chai. That's water, and then this here is the mango lassi. It's a yogurt drink. With mango. It's very sweet and it's very nice to finish off your meal or on a hot day. Today is not hot, but we are having a meal. So
this is so nice. I get a little bit of heat off of here, but it's quite pleasant. And it's definitely like jalapeno, but really nice.
Yep.
Louie.
In the big batch that we make, we only use 3 or 4 jalapenos. So it's very subtle jalapeno flavor, but it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's surprising the difference between having the jalapeno and not having a jalapeno. You wouldn't think it's that much because it's only just a couple of them that are going in there.
I get it though, the flavor. And just that little bit. That's so good. How did you like that eggplant? Well, he got to come stay with me too. While you were in India. That was a delight.
Yeah, how was that 3 weeks, by the way? I know because there's a long period that he wasn't used to being around other dogs because, here he's just usually with me. So there was a little adjustment period for him, right? How long was that? And
it didn't take long at all. He, having lived at at our daycare for a period of time, you worry that does he think, that he's coming back to stay? But he's so confident in his relationship with y'all and had good experiences at the facility that he really didn't take long. Once he figured out that, one, you're going to come back for him, that everybody's going to spoil him rotten, he was completely into the experience and could just easy peasy with the other dogs.
Yeah,
he's just such a good boy, and he's such a dog/person that he just cruises through. Yeah, with no concerns about the others. No reason to argue. Right. No, we're just there, just smooth.
I'll tell you one thing. While he might have been relaxed while I was gone, since I've been back, he hasn't left my side.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even when you walked in and you poked him on the back, he came straight to me. He's like, he must be calling me. I'm across the room.
Yeah, definitely. I would foresee that being the case because though he did do great, there is no replacing the bond that y'all have now, right? Because he and I still have a bond, but it's not like.
Is that right, Louie?
Not like y'all. Not like with the family. I'm gonna try this thing out. Not sure how to really go for it.
Yeah. So an easy way is just take the spoon. You can just put the chutney on it. That'll be easier than dipping it. You can use the same spoon.
Oh, fair. Fair.
I like to actually. Because this one is a little bit more watery.
It's so good.
So I like to put this in so it kind of just gets into all the little crevices. And then I'll put the mint on top. And then this is my favorite combination with samosas.
Exceptional.
I think this is the first podcast where we're actually eating the food.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was actually hungry. And this food is just so good. So good. I don't get to enjoy such cuisine very often.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm just worrying about how good the dogs are eating.
What goes into a doggy daycare? So when you're, like I've visited there to drop them off and pick them up. So I know like it gets really hectic. So you have like a 30-minute, 40-minute period where everybody's just coming one after the other with the dogs.
Yep. Similar to a restaurant. So prior, in my before I was a doggy daycare manager, I worked in restaurants.
Okay.
I was a dishwasher all the way up to a general manager. Did everything from everything in between. So there's that I was able to transfer over because you have the ebb and flow like a restaurant. You have rushes like a restaurant. It's a living, breathing business like a restaurant. Everything's the same. It just depends on who's there, how many you got. And you have special occasions that you prepare for.
Right.
So in that way, there is a lot of parallels between running a restaurant and running a doggy daycare. You might not expect that, but there is. So I think that I was able to carry a lot of that over, which is great for working with parents because I've already lived that life where I was meeting people and developing relationships. And so that's been helpful. And then the fact that, we're talking about dogs, everybody can come together about a dog.
Right.
And it's just making sure that we're forming those relationships to make sure that what we're doing is in line with what the parents are doing.
Yeah.
And that everybody's on the same page. And that way we can have all of these dogs, all of these parents, and we're able to be cohesive because we're all on the same page, which is just doing what's best for the pups. So a lot goes into the running of a doggy daycare, but as long as it is dog first, you're good. I think dog first every day.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how happy he is that you're here.
Because
this is the first time that we're both like outside of daycare.
Yeah.
That he's seeing the both of us together at the same place.
That's right. When it had nothing to do with with all that, huh?
Yeah, no, because literally the day that we met, and then today. 4.5 years. That's wild. that's a little bit wild.
Really came full circle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah. He just has the best life.
He does.
And even though I'm living it with him, or he's living it with me, I'm jealous of him. Because he has the same life I have without any of the responsibilities or stress.
Not a one. Yeah.
Not a single
Not a one.
So I take him absolutely, you're going to get a kick out of this. I take him absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for inside the restaurant. Although now, restaurant's closed, so he's in the restaurant too.
Yeah.
But, like, we go to the movies once a week. I take him to the bank, and just like you used to take him to the bank. That's actually how I found out that dogs were even allowed in the bank.
Was when you met him?
When I met him, I was like, oh, I've never seen a dog in the bank before. This is cool.
That made him a standout too,
Yeah.
First dog in the bank.
And they still love him over there. Same bank. I'll go every time I go in, regardless of if the financial advisor is with the customer or if the drive-through teller is with the car, right? Once the teller says, oh, Louie's here, everybody literally, they get up, they say, oh, sorry, give me a minute, we'll be right back. And everybody just stops what they're doing, comes, greets him, gives him treats. Like, I haven't had to buy treats for him ever.
Nice.
I've never had to buy treats for him.
Because he does.
Yeah, he's just like a magic dog,
He is that way.
And so, I've never, so I take him to the movies, I take him to the bank, I take him shopping.
And people respond well to him. In all regards. Yeah.
So well.
Yeah,
they love the fact that he's around. Everybody comes and says, oh, can I pet your dog? I'm like, yeah, sure, if he lets you. Like,
He's not busy.
And yeah, exactly. And it's not even in he'll growl at you type if he lets you. It's just he might just walk away from you.
Yeah, he just might.
Yeah, he's a quiet dog, very well mannered. I mean, you can see.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Yeah, he's the best mannered. Well, far better mannered than many a human.
And he's like this all the time.
Yeah,
he's like this all the time.
He is consistent. Yeah, he's always been this way.
And
you are who you are.
Yeah. The only times he ever barks is when he's in the back and we're working.
Yeah.
And so the door is open, so the kitchen doesn't get too hot. So the screen door is there, he can't get in. And that's when he barks. He's like, let me in. Like, you guys are being so mean. Like, why am I out here when you guys are right? I can see you through the screen.
And it was a very purposeful, very intentional bark. You know,
absolutely.
We got a problem to solve.
Absolutely. So, yeah. I mean, no, he's just such a great blessing. And, you know, I am very fortunate that I happened to run into you guys that day. You know? Like, just the whole string of events that led to that moment, right? My aunt was visiting. My aunt saw this big stack of coins. You know, we got the gas station too, so we get a lot of change. So she saw this huge stack of coins. She's like, oh, you know, we got to go to the bank and just deposit this.
This is wonderful. This is how y'all got there.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, you know, we got to go deposit this. And it was like a month's worth of change. Because it was just coins. So we just hadn't gone. And so I was like, all right, fine, we went. And normally I'm just in and out of the bank, right? If we're just putting like some cash, then they just put it through the machine, they count it up, and then we're out. So it's just a couple minutes. But I think we had like close to $1,200 or $1,300 worth of coins. So it took a long time to count. So we were already there 20 minutes longer than I would have been in the bank by the time you guys walked in.
That's amazing.
So if it was just a regular day,
wouldn't have been there.
Wouldn't have even been there.
And we've been going, and we were in and out. That was, at that point, that's, he and I, we had to find what we were going to do. We had bonded. He wanted out of the highly social setting, because after a while that can be a lot to be with all the dogs every day.
All the time,
So we didn't know what we were going to do. I'm speaking for us. We didn't die. We didn't know what we were going to do, and we were going to Market Commons. We were going to the bank, going to just every place that I could possibly take him. And then y'all were like next to us. And then things just, like, I wouldn't, at that moment, like, how do I believe, you know, I don't know, is this really a thing? Like, who knew it was going to be this?
No, I know. You know what gave it away was that tag you had, the tag that he had on. Cause I try to, like, you know, when I see dogs or just animals in general, I just try to, you know, greet them and say hi and whatever. So, especially I was never allowed to have pets growing up, and especially not dogs. You know, I come from a Muslim family, so there's just a big thing in Muslim culture against dogs. But I like dogs. I like dogs a lot. So I always play with the dog. So I crouched down. I was sitting down. First, I don't know if you remember, but he brought his head straight into my chest. He brought his head straight into my chest. And
like head first.
Yeah, exactly. So I just sat down. And as I was like scratching behind his ear, I saw his collar and said, oh, ask about my adoption. And I'm like, what do you mean ask about the adoption? Turn around. I was like, I'm being fostered. And I'm like, oh, he's being fostered. And then I asked him, like, oh, does he like, was it like, you know, is he not like actually your dog? Like, are you just like taking care of him? And it's like, you know, he's like, it's my dog, but I'm taking care of him. It's like, of course it's my dog.
That's my boy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. And just for that entire weekend, I just couldn't, like, every time I closed my eyes, I saw him.
It was so good.
And it's the wildest thing, because I've never had that about anybody or anything, where I close my eyes and all I see is them. Never happened before.
Well,
right? I expect it only to happen a couple times going forward. It's probably once I get married and once I have kids are the only times I can think of in the future where I'll have that same type of experience of, like, I close my eyes and that's what I see. But this is the first time it happened to me. So I was like, so I called you after that weekend and I said, you know, tell me about this guy. You know, tell me about him. And then another, like, couple weeks after that, I was signing the papers.
It was so great. It was so great. Once it was just, I can't express to you, like, how meant to be, but so unexpected at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
you want to get down, buddy?
You want down?
Go ahead, Louie.
There you go. That's one way. It's amazing the connections that dogs can make. And the impact that a dog can have. Right, Louie? and dogs are, and each one being their own individual.
He doesn't even know what he wants. He's right back here. I think he's just doing, like, the chair, maybe.
It's a good boy.
But, yeah. So, what's some of the What's the best thing about working at the place, and what's like the most challenging part?
Okay. I would say the best thing about it is that I literally know every day I go to work that I'm going to have tens, many 10s, 50, 60, 70 dogs there with me that day, that it is guaranteed that when I get to work, there are going to be tons of dogs who came intentionally to have a good time.
It's a very unique blessing that every day you get up and you have to go to work, but you know that every day that you go to work is going to be a good day.
Yep, every single one.
That's
every single one.
That's a type of job that people are hope to have.
Indeed.
I feel the same way here about the restaurant.
Yeah,
is because I love talking to people.
Yeah.
So, which is actually what really led to me to starting this podcast.
I mean, it makes sense.
I basically have these conversations multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Why not just put a couple of them in front of the camera?
Yeah, share them with people.
So I know that every day that I wake up is going to be a good day.
That's it, every day, and I'm grateful for the ability to feel that way. And it's because dogs just give. Because I know that no matter what, they're going to be excited. Mm-hmm. And I need to be as excited. So every day for them, and generally, it's the best day since yesterday.
Yeah.
Until tomorrow. I want to share, I want to enrich their lives in that way. I never want to take that enthusiasm down.
Yeah.
I need to be matching their excitement. Oh, what a baby.
Yeah. And
it is that connections with people too, because you do make connections with their parents.
Yeah. So, that's a great spot to be in. Mm-hmm. That you get to be with all those dogs. I know that sometimes, because just like me, right, I came and dropped him off before I went to India. So sometimes you get dogs that are there for long periods of time. And so just from the outside in, from what I can assume are some of the challenges, like I'm sure you get some people that get dropped off in the morning, and then some dogs that get dropped off in the morning, picked up in the evening, like I do sometimes with Louie, just regularly. Yeah. And then some are there for longer times. And I'm sure some dogs, like Louie, have some real separation anxiety. Louie was lucky that you were his mom before I was.
Yeah, that worked out well.
So he had no stress the entire time. But I know that the first couple of times I went to New Jersey for a few days and left him here with the gang here. They would call me every 3 hours. Yeah. Oh, Louie still hasn't eaten. Louie is whining. Louie's crying. He's sad. He doesn't want to do anything. I'm like, just give him a couple of days. He'll understand that you guys are the ones that are feeding him. Yeah. He'll get used to it real quick. And he does. But by the time he gets used to it, I come back the next day anyway. So it's like...
Well, so with that, the thing that so before the dogs come, they have to come and experience the facility, and they need to check it, the social environment. But and make sure that it's a good fit. But more than anything, what we need to establish is that whoever your parent is comes back for you. Yeah. Because some dogs don't look back. Right. But nonetheless, all of them at the end of the day want to know what's going on with their people, Yeah. So with that, we try to set the dogs for success. So for a dog to be successful at length, for the most part, they just need to know that the people are coming back and have an idea of what the schedule, the routine. So routine is everything. So as long as we stay on a strict schedule and the parents have given them time to make a connection that I go, everything is good, and then you come back for me. Once they've got that set, then they can really, enjoy the experience of the facility, of the doggy daycare and boarding. It's really an interesting thing, and it is a lot of psychology of a dog. Yeah. They're not just a dog; they're Louie, and what does Louie need to feel comfortable? Yeah. If it's definitely. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not the same thing for everybody. Each dog is an individual. Yeah. And it's very much, the facility is basically the same as any other daycare it's just dogs.
Yeah.
And so it means they're like all 3-year-olds.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. I was just about to bring that up. Is that's what changed the entire way that I think about animals. Is and especially dogs and cats to a certain extent, mostly dogs. Is finding out that a full-grown dog's brain develops to about a toddler, right? 2.5 to 3 years old. So they can learn words, like they can understand like our communication to a certain amount, and they have that same level of like emotional intelligence, where they feel so strongly like a child. Yeah. And even if something bad happens by the next day, as long as something good happens to counteract it, they're back to being happy. Absolutely, literally, And right. And so if you just think of them as a little human that can't talk yet, but they can understand what you're saying, everything changed. Yeah, right. I'm so that's everything wonderful. Changed, and which is why when like I go to like India and stuff, I see all the dogs out on the street, and then people like are scared of them or don't like them or stay away from them. I'm just like, you don't know, right? Like we treat like so on the streets. You'll see 2 animals, right? You'll see cows and you'll see dogs. And every once in a while, you'll see cats, but cats are smart, and the cats, the cats in India are the same as the cats over here, right? They've got it figured out. Yeah, exactly. They've got it figured out, right? They don't look like cats. The street cats don't look nearly as unhealthy as the street dogs, right? Street dogs will have like fur falling out and stuff like that, and whatever. And I don't know, man, but like it just saddens me, right? That if right, people have a deep respect for cows. People have a deep respect for even the cats, right? Like my family, they put out food for the cat, so it's the same cat. It's a street cat, but it's the same cat that comes back every day, and just call it our cat. Yeah, and I'm like, all right, cool. Why can't we do the same thing like for a dog? Yeah, you know, it's like of the 3, that's the one that's being mistreated, and by every like community, right? Whether it's Hindus or Muslims, and they don't seem to like dogs, and. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It is interesting. It's the difference between like seeing a dog and being in a dog's world. That's what I say. I say it's different. You can see a dog and everybody's like, oh, hey. But it's seeing them and seeing them in their parallel reality. You know, they're like with us. Yeah. But and they're trying to meld with us. But we're not exactly, because we're different. You know, we're dogs and people. Yeah, but we can come together. On some interspecies level, and it's different when you see them as an emotional being, a fully developed emotional being to the level of a child. You can start to see them as more of an individual, but so many people just take it at face value, and they're just a dog, just a dog. Why is just a dog? Well, he's Louie. He's got wants and desires and feelings. You know, and that's probably also the most challenging thing about my job, about running a daycare, dog daycare and boarding facility, is Louie, the struggle is real. That was so real. Flop. He was already laying down. There was no reason to be that dramatic. So dramatic. Huge sigh, tossed himself on the floor. All right, so since they can't see on the camera, he was laying down like a normal dog, like this, sits up, and then flops to his side. With a sigh. Instead of just calmly rolling, since he's already laying down, he has to sit up and then flop. Throw himself down with a sigh. My goodness. That's the other hardest thing is the dogs, is because you love them so much that that's probably the hardest part. That's the best part and the hardest part. Because also, dogs don't last like anything. Nothing in this world is permanent. That's right. And that impermanence is something you don't really think of, or I never considered going into this industry. And now, having been at the place for 5.5 years, I've had experiences now of the impermanence of everything and everyone, and that is still bittersweet, because I'll take the experience. I'll justifies the pain that follows loss. So I'll take the experience over. I always pick the experience
and understanding what I'll have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's overshadowed by the good, but that's definitely the hardest part.
Yeah,
also.
That's one of the things that has been nonstop playing in my head. Because you remember a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago, Louie had the accident right outside.
Yeah.
And so that's the first time I thought, and at that point I had only had him for like 1.5 years, right? And is it? Yeah. At that point I had him for 1.5 years, and so that's when I was really like, okay, I already know he only had, because I adopted him. He turned 8 right after I adopted him.
Yeah.
Right. He just turned 12 a few months ago. So, if I'm lucky, I have another 2 full years with him and some change.
Yeah.
Right. But that was cut short, or almost cut short a couple of times. Right.
Yeah.
From the accident, and then from the other accident I had in October.
Yeah.
Where.
Yeah. Some scary moment.
Yeah. So, like, I would have felt better if it was the October one.
Yeah.
It would have been both of us that are going. I don't have to think about it. Right? It's a couple years ago. It was just him. Although now he's very smart. You saw how in the parking lot he went right up to the sidewalk. He's like, "That's my limit. I'm not going anywhere." Like,
he knows the boundaries now.
Yeah,
Lesson learned.
Exactly.
The hard way.
Although he still has the knack of running out to the beach, but he'll stay on the sidewalks. Like, he'll take the sidewalks all the way to the beach. And I had a couple of times where, because I have my number on his collar. I ordered a new one, so I'm waiting on that one. But like, I have my number on his collar, so I got a call a couple of times from the street light at Ripley's. Yeah. So basically, he'll take this sidewalk, go over to Subway, cross over Subway, and walk down the pavilion on the grass. So there's no roads, right? And he just walk casually through the pavilion until he gets to Ripley's. And then from Ripley's, he'll try to cross the street. But then when he's at the street corner at the light, people will be like, "Oh, what's this dog doing here?" And then they'll look at him and see my name and the number on the collar, and they'll call me. They'll be like, "Hey, man.
Your boy Louie's here."
It's like, is Louie your dog? I'm like, "Yeah, Louie's my dog. Who is this?" Like, "Yeah, he's over here by Ripley's, man."
Oh, my God.
So, that's happened twice.
Oh, my goodness. He just wants to, he said he had to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Louie. Happy birthday to you. Ready? Yeah. Come on, blow. Yeah, blow. You want to blow? Good job. This is for you, baby. Yo, tak lah. You get it? No, good. Go ahead.